Hey everyone, my name's Andrew Hess, and today I wanted to explore APIs a little bit more. With the stock market API, we can use an API key, pull in some data from the API stock market, and we can retrieve some data. And of course, we're going to use the Power Platform, Power Automate to do this. Let's get into it. I'm really excited about doing this, and let's put a plan together first. Last week, we compared API calls to that waiter between you and the kitchen. So you have a menu, which is your API, and you use the waiter to request what you want, and then the waiter brings you back food from the kitchen. Today, we're going to do that, except for we're going to make the calls more dynamic. So we're going to say, hey, show me these stock tickers, send it to the waiter in a loop multiple times. So we're going to send it through a loop multiple times. And then we're going to pull back that data and display it in an Excel table. I figured we'd do Excel. It's just a little different. We'll try different things. If you like and subscribe, then we can do different types of data sources, SharePoint, Excel, and maybe Dataverse and SQL someday too. So let's get into it. Let's make those API calls in a loop. We're going to use Excel as our data source right now. And you can see I have a sheet and it's as values. Maybe we want another sheet that's our stock tickers. So let's do a rename. Let's do stock tickers. And this is going to contain the stocks that we want to grab. So stock tickers, and we'll grab Microsoft, Google, and let's say Apple. Let's just grab those three for right now. And I'm going to create a table. So insert table. My table has headers. Click OK. And then I'm going to name my table because this is going to help me. This will be stock tickers. All right, so that's my stock tickers. And here are going to be my values. To get my data, I'm going to use Finnhub Stock API. Now, once again, I'm not being sponsored by Finnhub. They didn't tell me to make this video or anything. This is just something I found online. And they have a get a free API key. So I created a free API key and I used the API documentation to figure out the data that I'm going to get back. So when I go to the documentation, we can go in here and we can look at the quote price. And at the quote price, this is the REST API URL that I'm going to use to retrieve my data. So if I click on something like Microsoft, you can see it's then going to print me off a nice, beautiful API response here in the browser. But I'm going to do this now in Power Automate. So there was, let's look at this again. Current price, change, percent change, high price, low price. Let's skip those, I guess. And we'll do open price of the day and previous close price. Open price and previous close. We need to know the stock name. So let's insert the name, the stock name. So we have these few columns. Let's kind of pull them in here. Add a date column. And let's create another table. And give it a stock data. All right, so we have our Excel table. We have stock name, the data, and then the date. All right, so let's go to Power Automate. I'm going to go up here to the waffle, as I like to call it, Power Automate, and I'm going to open up Power Automate. And we're going to create a brand new Power Automate today on a reoccurrence. And the reason I'd like to do reoccurrences is because an HTTP call is a premium feature. So remember that this is premium, what we're doing today. But on a reoccurrence, only the person or owner of the flow that is running the flow needs a premium license. So I'm going to do a scheduled cloud flow and get my stocks. And we're going to do this. Now there's different options in here. And this is one that I really like. One thing that I just kind of learned a little while ago, you can go to every day, and then do it at a certain time. Do it at 9:30. But what I really like is to do every week and then you say what day you want it to happen on. So every week on Monday, and then we're going to click create. There's even some more settings that you can put in here. Right down here, you can say at these hours. So I'm going to say at 9, and then I'm going to say at these minutes, I'm going to say 31. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to get my second table, my secondary table, my lookup table. So I'm going to do get items from Excel. I'm going to go from Excel. Let's see, can we find Excel? Microsoft doesn't want us using Excel, but we'll find it in here anyway. So I want to get, not a row, I want to get all the rows. List rows in a table. That might be what I want. Add a row in a table. This is it. List rows in a table. So we're going to find my SharePoint site, which is stock tickers. The document library is the out-of-the-box document library. The file, stock Excel, and then the table. It's not finding it. So let's just type it in. We know the name was of the table was stock tickers. Let's manually type that in. Let's make sure that it's working. Okay, it does seem like it is working. It did connect to that. Let's check out the outputs. The raw outputs we can see down here, and I'm in the way, let me move me, that we got Microsoft, Google, and Apple. So you see, it did work, but for some reason it didn't recognize my tables. Maybe that's because we have more than one sheet, but that's a good error to kind of run into. We got Microsoft, Google, and Apple. Okay, that's good. Now, this is where I want to do my API request. I want to call my API. So I'm going to do an HTTP action. Just a regular HTTP, no Swagger, no webhook. And we are going to use that URI that we got from the documentation. Now, based in the documentation, you can see up here is a sample code. What we're going to do is we're going to change it to a curl, CURL. And this is going to be the URL that we're going to use for our Power Automate call. Except for where you see token, we're going to put in our own API key, and then we're going to put in our own symbols. So you can see this one is to Apple, and this is how we're going to make our call in Power Automate. So this is the URI that we got from the documentation. We type it in there. You can see that it did give us Microsoft in there, but we're going to make that dynamic, right? That's going to be from our rows. And then our API key. So this comes from when you sign up. This is a reminder, if you're following along, to store your API key somewhere safely, securely. You don't want someone else getting access to your API key. So just remember that. Be careful sharing your API key. Now, I'm sharing it. I'm not going to keep the same API key. I'm going to disable it. And there's no account attached to these API keys. So let's get back into it. Let's go back to Power Automate and put in our API key. And I'm going to put that in my URL. Now, if I don't blur this out, then I'm going to reset it and not let you use my API key. All right, so now the symbol. The symbol is going to be from our stock tickers. So it's going to put it in a loop. And every time we get data, we're going to go to Excel, and we are going to create a row. So add a row into a table. Let's see if it recognizes my table this time. So we're going to go to my SharePoint list. And it is stock tickers, document library, documents, or file. Does it find the tables this time? This time it found my tables. I don't know what to tell you. And we have my stock data. Let me move me. I'm in the way again. I'm always in the way. And now in the new version of Power Automate, in the modern version, we click Show All, and we can see all of our data in here. So the stock name is going to be the stock tickers. That's for each one of those. The current price. How are we going to grab the current price? So you can see right now in my HTTP call, it doesn't really give me much. So let's just test right now. Let's just give it a save and give it a test. All right, so it should loop through 3 times. And it did. It got each one of those. You can see the close. And then if we step through, we'll see the close change. So we can see the close change to 200. This was for Google, so you can see it's for Google. And the next one was for Apple, and you can see we got all that data too. So now let's go back to adding in our data. So let's go back in and let's see what happens. Will it allow me to write in the current price? And it doesn't. The HTTP call does not kind of help me write in there. Power Automate gives me absolutely nothing to write in there, but we can do this. We understood how to do it last week. Let's do it this week. So we'll go to our run, our previous run, and inside here, we got the C value, and let's click the raw outputs. We can see in the body, we got body and then the C value. So we're just going to say, hey, give me the body and then the C value of our HTTP call. So HTTP question mark body question mark C. So in our add row and table, show all, for current price, we're going to say, give me the outputs of HTTP question mark body question mark C. Okay, and that's all we're going to put in there. We're going to do a save. And in our Excel, we probably have some things writing in here, right? Like we already wrote nothing in there. Let's delete this. And let's try again. But this time, as we loop through, we're going to grab the close value for each of the 3 times. And it's probably done. It's just still spinning. We can take a look in there. And so you can see that we've now grabbed the close value through each one of those. Microsoft, Google, Apple, and looped through. So it's beautiful. Even though it says it's still spinning, it's not. We understand. Let's keep going for the other columns. So the change. And let's look at that data again. So change was D. So pretty much it's just going to be the same equation over and over. Let's just write it one more time for just to figure this out. Outputs of HTTP question mark, and question mark is there to help you in case there's a null value. If there's a null value and you don't have your question mark, you get an error. So it's always important to do the question marks. And then I believe it was body. And then it was, what was it, D? Was that it? And so I'm just going to copy this time. So the change was the D. And let's do the next one. So then we have percent change, which is DP. Percent change was DP. Add. And then the open price is O, and the previous is PC. So the open price is O, the letter O, and the previous is PC. PC. And then the date, we're just going to set that it's equal to now. UTC time now. Now we could probably convert this if we wanted to. So you can say format, date time, UTC time now. And we can do something like, I think you do year, month, day, ending parentheses, click OK. And then we have date time format here also. That's kind of helpful that it already had that in there. And I'm just going to hit save. And let's give it a test. We give it a test. It runs through Excel. You can see it already did the first line. We messed up our years, and we definitely messed up our days and our months also. 39, 26, that can't be right. So we probably want to work on our date time format. So let's go ahead and figure that out again. So this time I looked it up. I'm sorry I can't memorize everything, but format, date time, UTC time, month, day, year. Let's give it another test. Make sure that comes through as we'd like. And there we go. Now we have our date fields. They're coming through each one at a time. I'm going to delete these up here. And so we have some nice data in there. Let's add another stock in here. Let's add Amazon. And hopefully I have that stock ticker right, but we'll just add Amazon in here into our list and we'll run the flow again. And we're going to run through again. But this time you can see in the for each, I had 4 times it ran. And so when we go back to our Excel, we can see we have Microsoft, date time, Google, date time, Apple, and then Amazon. So pretty neat stuff here. We could probably make some really awesome pivot table graphs off of this data, right? So if we took this data and we deleted these rows, oh, I want to delete these rows. And then we made a pivot table off of this, insert, pivot table, and create my own pivot table on a new sheet. We could probably pull in, you know, current price, stock name, and change, percent change, open, previous. We can pull that in there, see a nice table. We could probably do, you know, over time, we could probably pull in the date. You pull in the date, and then on top of that, we probably would do a line bar, right? So let's do a line bar. And in the line bar, our values are going to be, you know, current price, and it's going to be over time. Instead of just showing, let's add some more data in there. Let's just add some more data in here. Let's say we had, let me pull this down. Let's see. Microsoft, Google, Amazon. Let's say we had this in a few times. And so let's say you started collecting the data, you know, every 9:31 a.m. And we started getting the data, you know, on 126, 128, 129, 130. And then we go back to our data table and we refresh this. And so we have now built a slicer based on this data. And so we can start to see this data over time and collect our own data. Maybe you store this in SQL, maybe you keep it in Excel. It's kind of up to you. It's a little at-home project that you could do. So I could totally see this being really cool, really valuable. You could hook this up to AI. I'm just letting you know. You could hook this up to AI and let it talk back to you based on your data. I hope this helps. It's really cool to see how you can pull this data out of APIs, especially for free. These APIs are for free, and I'm not being sponsored by these websites or anything. I'm just showing you ideas that I've had before. So thank you all for watching. My name is Andrew Hess, and I'll see you next time.